Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 452 for May 18th, 2022. My name is Russell Frost. I have the good fortune to be your host for this week's adventure in advanced tech mobility and sustainable energy. 5, 2, thank you. That's the Canadian version, right? 4, 5. Do you see my lose coordination there? I have to embarrass myself at the beginning of every episode of this damn show. Why? Okay, I'm just going to introduce everybody, and we're going to get on with this. Next person next to me in the bright red shirt, our Mr. Mid-Atlantic Supercharger, Kacey Green.
How's it going? This used to be a bright red shirt, and now it's a milk napkin.
You're going to have lots of those, my friend.
Yeah.
Speaking of nothing, he is the founder and host of the Tesla Life and maybe the founder of the Waterloo Regional Electric Vehicle Association as well. His name is Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. A quick shout out to the European Union for doing the right thing and proposing a $300 billion deal for green energy to accelerate their way out of fossil fuel as of today. Congratulations, Europe.
That's good.
Yay.
That's good. Accelerating us towards what? A future free from fossil fuels.
I'm sorry. There's a problem with Patrick's audio, and I can't quite hear him. He's breaking up. I don't know.
What?
Oh, God. Okay. That was a good one. You got me. I'll give you that. Let's see. Our friend on the front range. He is the founder and owner of Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back and a beautiful sun in my eyes day here. So
It looks gorgeous
The
out the
dark
window
here.
behind you.
yeah. Quite nice.
It just looks blue here because I haven't color balanced, and that's what the kind of sloppy host I am. Interesting. Okay. And he's not on the show often enough. I like to think of him as the president of Canada, but he is the man with encyclopedic car knowledge, Mr. JonB.
Hi, everyone. And once again, glad to be on the show whenever I can pop in.
Thank you, John. I'm glad you pop in once in a while, because that's better than not having you at all. So, and last and certainly not least, he may be the troll who can get my goat at almost any time of the day or night. He is Mr. OEVA and Mr. CarsWithCords.net, Patrick Connor.
Hello. Looks like it's going to be a fun show. Let's get it on the road.
We are going to tear shit up today.
All I heard was the guy that can get you a goat.
Do you have goats? Why did I use that of all things? Like, where do we go to goats?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I heard somebody bought a new car.
Well, Let's talk to him. John has a new vehicle, and we're going to open the show by talking to John about that. John, what did you get? And tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's exciting times. After 18 years of Prius, I've finally bought something that isn't a Prius. So I've recently acquired a Kia EV6. I picked it up back in March. Not too bad. Wait time of about 5 to 6 months. Pre-orders in Canada opened in October of last year. It's been a very interesting journey, just especially looking at the replacement for the Prius. I wanted it to be electric, and starting the search about 2 years ago, we had all the vehicles that we can see today, and a few more that are launching over the next few months. Those were all still either concepts or vehicles that are coming down the line. And it's really exciting to see them all here today. So the vehicle I settled on was an EV6. It's one of 3 triplets of the Hyundai Genesis Kia Motor Group, based on their new dedicated EV platform, eGMP, Electric Global Modular Platform. As you may have noticed from all these vehicles, all these manufacturers, they're going with a modular platform for electric vehicles to help reduce costs or spread costs, R&D costs, over a greater number of vehicles. So of course, then this one uses a skateboard platform with two different battery sizes, 58 kilowatts and 77 kilowatt hour, with rear-wheel drive as standard and all-wheel drive as optional. The vehicle I purchased is a GT Line all-wheel drive. In Canada, GT Line all-wheel drive, GT Line Package 2. So 320 horsepower, 446 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, and range 276 miles or 441 kilometers. And so that, of course, is a mixed driving range, city highway, and actually, I believe, is also a mixed 19-inch, 20-inch range that Kia is advertising. So probably closer to 250 miles, 400 kilometers for 20-inch, and maybe closer to 280, 290, 470, 480 kilometers for rear-wheel drive.
Wait, so was
John, I have
the, you
tangential
just mentioned the
question.
rear wheel versus the four wheel versus rear wheel. I just wanted to know which gets longer range.
So the rear-wheel drive is rated, EPA rated at 310 miles, so 499 kilometers.
And what was the all wheel that you have?
276 miles,
Oh, okay.
441.
All right. Yeah. Since you said those numbers, I just didn't. Okay.
Sorry, I know. I'm just throwing
Yeah.
out numbers.
Yeah.
So this half of the show got tired of waiting on Toyota to put out a reasonable EV and just bought something else.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah, I know, and I shout out to like a fellow Canadian, Kareem Habib, who was one of the lead designers in the Kia EV6. Lebanese born, I believe, but grew up in Montreal. And Albert Bierman, who was oversaw the tuning, suspension tuning of the EV6. He's a former BMW M division. I forget his title now. I'm sorry.
Of the triplets, the EV6 is my favorite. I think it's the best looking. I would probably get the Ioniq 5 just because it's that weird brutalist thing, but that's me. But like, if anybody asked me, "Hey, which one do you want?" I would say, "I get the EV6," because the Genesis, it's got the split light thing going on, and there's something about that EV6 just got that looks nice.
Yeah, they did say they took inspiration from the Lancia Stratos rally
Ah.
car.
Does yours have the power offboarding?
Vehicle to load, yes. Yes, so that's so there's an interior plug that's 1.9 kilowatts, 120 volts, or there is an adapter for the external plug, which plugs into the charge port. So you can power, a kettle, a microwave, I don't know, a projector for a movie night while camping, yeah. Or even charge another vehicle in an emergency.
John, how did you find the buying experience through a Kia dealer? Was it any different than Toyota? What did you pick up on when you went through the process?
Right. So the pre-order process, I decided to wait until Kia Canada released the pre-order website, I suppose. I know a few people put deposits with the dealers ahead of time after the global launch, so kind of between the March to September timeframe. The US launch was in May, and then the Canadian launch reveal was in July. So I actually went through directly through Kia Canada.
Okay.
So I placed the deposit through a third-party website. A third party dealt with the receiving the $500 deposit, and then you just simply pick the dealer where Kia Canada will deliver the vehicle. In terms of the delivery itself, it was fantastic. I couldn't ask for a smoother process. The trade-in portion of that was quite seamless. They were very upfront with the pricing. They were very reasonable with the pricing. No additional fees, no market adjustment values. There was an administration fee which is higher than what Toyota Canada charges, but they were so reasonable with all the other stuff that I didn't really haggle too much on the administration fee there. And even with delivery, like, they were able to charge it up fully. They took care of some of the minor minor scratches and dips, well before I even stepped out of the office and did an overview look of the vehicle.
And did they deliver with a full charge?
He's back.
I
I just asked a question.
literally just boom, went goodbye. Like the browser didn't. Anyway, my apologies.
Thought you were subbing in Georgia or something.
Yeah.
Maybe Georgia was summoning us.
Perhaps.
So quickly,
Anyway,
yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Raj.
Sorry. Well, I had a question. Did they deliver with a full charge? Like you buy a Toyota, you get a full tank of gas.
Yes. So yeah, actually, with a Toyota, I also got a full charge on the Prime. With this one, they tried their best. The reason why is that the vehicle actually came from a different dealer,
Okay.
and it was supposed to be delivered to someone else. And they said, "Oh, hang on a second. This I was next in line." So they said, "Oh, so they they stole it from the other dealer."
Nice.
Got it. And just for reference, what is the price of gas right now where you are?
It's $2.30 a liter, or about what is that, six something a gallon? I don't know what it is now.
$6.24 American.
$6.24
Nice.
American a gallon.
Wow.
Nice. So,
So you feel pretty smug then. Driving.
Yes.
it sounds like the dealer experience there is a lot nicer than here. Is it because of regs, or do they just care more about future sales, or?
I think part of it is regs. Dealer market adjustment, or what do you call it? ADMs, what do you call that? Additional dealer markup. That really isn't a thing in
Baseball
Canada.
profit.
Yeah, I've seen a few on really high-priced vehicles, a Corvette, say a Z06, or say a Mustang GT500, one of a very niche high-performance vehicle. But for everything else, no, I have not seen any. Like MSRP is pretty much what you're paying.
And do you live in a house or an apartment, and how do you charge?
I do live in a multi-family unit, so I am fortunate enough that there are charging spots downstairs in the parkade. So I do have a 1450 outlet, 50 amp outlet,
Is it shared parking spots or is it dedicated to you?
dedicated to me.
Okay.
And I do want to add, because I'm going to stay out of this for the most part, but John and I did about 40 minutes in detail with lots of specs and numbers and all of that, which isn't to change anything you guys want to ask, but just if you're watching this and you want to know more about the EV6, yeah, subscribe, look for that show probably tomorrow. Once it's edited, that'll be up, and you can hear John talk at length and in detail about the EV6. Anyway, back to you guys.
Why not wait for a Toyota EV?
So a few things that stood out. One was design. Just like Kacey, I really like the design of the EV6. Originally, I was looking at the Ioniq 5, but that was the first thing that Hyundai released. And then I think a month or two later, Kia released their version, which is the EV6. So I really like the design. It is a little more squat. So if you're looking for something more practical, if you're looking for more of a family vehicle, an Ioniq 5 definitely will suit that. Will suit you better. You do get 2 or 3 inches additional headroom, as well as it's actually cheaper by $2,000 in Canada, and it's about the same in the US. I do like the 800 volt architecture and 240 kilowatt DC fast charging, so that will get you in ideal conditions 10 to 80% in 18 minutes. That has been verified with some of the Australian outlets because it's late summer there, so they're in ideal temperatures right now. And in a few places in the US, the owners were their temperatures have finally started to warm up, and we're getting out of late spring. They were able to get the full charge there. So that was the long range, the fast charging, so the road tripability. Of course, you're dependent on third-party charging networks as opposed to a Tesla, where you can pretty much rely on the supercharger network. As a guaranteed seamless, smooth experience. So it'll be interesting in the summer when I do take it out on a trip and see how interacting with third-party stations will go. But yeah, the long range, it's really spacious. It's within an inch or two of the Prius Prime, but it's significantly more spacious inside.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mark, when you went down to Southern Cal, were the third-party chargers just as jammed up as the other ones, or?
They were not.
Okay.
No, the Teslas were much more jammed than third party when I was in Southern California.
I guess maybe the question is, how are third-party chargers in Canada, John?
Um, in BC where I am, we're fortunate enough to have the hydro or electric utility company build out the charging station. They're 50 kilowatts, and they are starting to install 100 kilowatts, but they are reliable. From what I've seen on PlugShare, like they are active on PlugShare, so they will state that something is out of commission. They will give a date, where they can, and
That's
the
good.
moment and then when it's repaired, they post it again. And if you compare the date when they said it was down and when they said it's back online, it's very quick.
I don't get why more power companies don't do this. This is their business.
It's easy for them to tap. Well, I shouldn't say easy because I'm not in that industry, but
there's less tape involved.
Right.
yeah,
They sell power.
Right. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. My local utility has been on board with EVs for a long time, and they used to sponsor our club room in the Portland World Trade Center building, which was not cheap. So I just don't get why other utilities have fought against it. It made no sense to me.
are there
These vehicles
provincial or state regulations maybe, right? Like a power company cannot be can only deliver power. It can
A lot of times it's set up to favor the power company, and they just don't want to do it.
There were some regulations where they had to promote conservation, not use, and so they had to make sure that this was not being considered as promoting use, and because they're so much more efficient than a gas vehicle, then they were able to get that waiver from whatever state agency regulates them.
Right. What about in Ontario, Southern Ontario?
There are a few different power companies that have their own networks. IV is one of them, and then another one I can't think of at the moment because I really don't use them. But it's interesting that I believe they're starting to up their game as time goes along. It seems to be more and more people are getting involved. But again, I've been kind of surprised about the slow start too, because it's right up their alley. It allows them to sell more power. It's a huge win for anyone that gets involved with it on a utility scale, and I'm just not sure why they haven't jumped all over it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there must be a reason.
Well, I would imagine that when it first started happening, that they were afraid that these things weren't going to take off. Oh, they're less than 0.1% of the market. They cost so much. Why do we want to get involved in this? Blah blah blah. And then now it's like here we are pushing on 5%, and they're like, "Oops, our pants are cut down." And now there's these third parties that are doing it, and now we can't compete with them because we're essentially government and they're commercial.
And I will say here in BC, it's not just the major highways that are covered. BC Hydro is building out to rural areas, so you can drive to northern BC with an EV because they have built up that infrastructure.
Nice.
And for people not familiar with British Columbia, it's about 3 times the size of California. It's a huge province.
And
Yes.
mountainous.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds strange. But yeah, no, pretty happy with the car right now. It drives really well. Again, I mentioned that at length in the other video. The tuning, the ride and handling is well sorted. And again, a lot of the question is it's really not so much the range. It's just a nice car. It just happens to be electric. That's the way I'm viewing the vehicle right now.
Excellent.
That's I love hearing that. You know what I mean? Like we can get over the range anxiety and the blah blah, all the other bullshit, and go, hey, guess what? This is just a good car. First and foremost, it's a good car, and it does this and this and this, and yeah, it happens to run on electrons rather than dinosaurs.
And having a charge port at home is great. You don't have to go to the gas station.
That part.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I actually do have a DC,
and the price of
DCS
electricity is a lot more stable than the price of gas.
It is.
and
And you know when the prices raises are coming.
Excellent.
One
Well,
last
you
thing
can make
though,
it yourself.
that's true. Yep.
Yeah, if you can do 250 out of the box, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I am getting about 420 kilometers. So what's that? 260, and it's not even summer yet. Yep. And I will say, if you do want more power, a GT version with 575 horsepower is
I'd
coming.
probably be doing that just because I've become addicted to speed. Russell, of the clean driving mentors, that little bit of Russell rubbed off on me there. Go fast.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
It's your fault.
I'll own it. I'll own it. I'm not Mr. Hyper Efficiency.
Yeah, everybody else of the mentors is like, yeah, you need to go slow, do this, kind of coast around, and Russell's like, just jam that pedal, man.
Have some fun with it. It's just, as we used to say in the pre-roll, right? Just drive it. Just drive it. It's okay. You don't have to worry about doing things. Just drive it. Well, John, thanks for that. I appreciate that. And as I said, do check our channel for the 40-minute in-depth, that's right, yeah, in-depth interview with John and I about the EV6. Uh-oh, what's Patrick doing? Oh, we're all going, okay. That's all.
That way?
It's a disco thing. Yeah. Okay. And you can get more information there. So let's go to our news this week. We're going to open up with Mark. Mark, who can I like a sad confession? This is the next car my daughter wants. This
I wouldn't say that's necessarily
Why is that sad?
This car.
Why is that sad?
Yeah. This is an electric, basically station wagon that Cadillac has unveiled. The Cadillac Lyric is going to be opening the order books for regular orders, which will be delivered sometime in early October. But the order books are opening May 19th, which is tomorrow as we record this. And they are going to be starting a price of $62,990 with 312 miles of range. It's going to be built with the new Ultium battery pack that GM has previously put out in the Hummer and is going to be distributing to about another 18 different car models, I understand, as time goes along, because the Ultium pack is going to be able to be customized in size based on the type of vehicle it's being used in. So 800 volt technology. And I, for one, am interested to see how this vehicle sells. It looks like your typical Cadillac, not a big surprise on design. It's got the extra little light bars and things on the front to signify it's electric. But the vehicle looks good. It certainly looks like a Cadillac on the inside. It's very plush looking. A lot of dials and knobs, flat screen in there. So and the price, it's around the price of a Model Y. So they've put a price in that is competitive, I believe, based on the mileage it's going to offer, based on the cost. This is going to be interesting to see if they sell a good amount of them. Also is going to be the question of how many can they actually manufacture. If it is very popular, are they going to have some of the issues like the Mach-E has had? Not really sure. But GM has been building battery factories. One's already built. 2 more are on the books to be built. One started construction. So they're betting. GM is betting on the Ultium battery packs and their distribution into different models. So this will be the real first test, because the Hummer, let's face it, it's over $100,000 for a pickup truck that is very large. It's probably not a mass market vehicle in any sense of the word. So this one at this price, being electric, all electric, is in the right price spot, I believe, based on the prices of today. And I, for one, wish them luck, and will be watching eagerly to see the stats of how this vehicle sells.
And is it going to be made in America or China?
Yes.
It's made in America. Yeah.
They're all made in America? They're not manufacturing in China. I didn't. Interesting.
They're not exporting to China, right?
I'm sure they
Because I
will.
know Cadillac's making some of their higher end cars in China now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a huge market for GM. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's a huge market for anybody who's there.
For anybody.
And their co-owner there, FAIC, has a lot of say in what happens as well.
Yeah.
So
No, go ahead,
I think
Patrick.
this is the right move for them. They've had the Chevy Bolt, but they can't charge $50,000 for that car, right? So
They
that
can,
makes it,
but it'd be
yeah,
foolish.
they're not going to sell very many. Yeah, right. So this is
So what
a
happened
car
to the
coming out at the high end where they can afford to have new tech in there and still have decent range and without compromise. And the other thing is Cadillac. Your comment about your daughter, Russell. They have a problem where the average age of the Cadillac buyer is going up the same way like Harley does, right? And if they don't do something like this to start bringing in new buyers, this is just going to die off with the greatest generation, and then be a brand that doesn't sell at all. So I think this is a pretty cool way for them to solve both of those problems. They need to start off with a luxury vehicle so they can charge a premium price and bring in younger buyers. It's a great move.
Yeah.
And another thing they're offering with new sale is 2 years of free charging on the EVgo system. So that comes with the purchase of the car.
And the teams, the marketing and design teams, are led by women, and they know what they're going for in this car. Like they had a model customer that they were trying to reach, and they, like, from all the people I talked to that know this thing exists, that are in the market, they all want it. Russell's daughter, anybody who would traditionally like a Cadillac for whatever reason, this is a more appealing Cadillac than some of the ones in the past for these first-time Cadillac buyers.
Boyer. So my mid-30s daughter is, she's definitely the target.
She is.
She's been talking about this car for like a year now.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously are doing their marketing in the right channels. If it's got her hooked.
Yeah. I've got some people in my circles that are the exact same way. They've been talking about it for a while. They've got the deposit down. They're ready for it to just hit. And I think we're going to see this thing everywhere, just like Cadillac used to be.
Yeah, and it looks great. The design is great. The specifications are good. The price, pretty reasonable for a luxury car, luxury EV rather. And they're working on a smaller version, kind of an XT4 size. And I think the XT4, the gasoline model, was originally intended to draw in younger buyers. So if they can make an XT4 sized version of the Lyric 2, right? That would and it's already capturing younger buyers with this price point, and they can expand even more with the.
Now all GM has to do is train their dealers how to sell electric cars.
Mm-hmm.
That free fuel for 2 years right now, while we're talking about $6 or $2 or two loonies a liter or $6 a gallon, that's gonna get some people right now while they're sitting at the pump, especially if they put the ad on the pump.
Yeah.
How does $1 a gallon sound?
Yeah.
How does free for 2 years sound?
Yeah. How does free for 2 years sound? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder if that free for 2 years is capped, or is it totally free? Because like you could be like an Uber driver and drive 100,000 miles.
Good question, Paul. I'm sure they've got some sort of cap on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the EVgos, I have a question. For the EVgos, are they DCFCs or are they level 2s?
They're fast charge.
It depends, yeah.
Okay. So I'm always wondering with the companies that are offering free charging, how would that affect? Yeah, how would it affect the warranty on the battery, right? If those
here's your 110 plug. It's free.
Well, there's that too. But I mean, yeah, if you're fast charging for the first 2 years of its life, right? How would that affect the warranty? Or is it one of those things where they built into
batteries have a mileage or time cap, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would think, based on my experience with the Chevy Volt, that GM would have had thought of that, because they were protecting the Volt with above and below charges, making sure that it was always within the acceptable range. So I got to believe that they thought of that in this new version as well.
And don't forget, the Chevy Spark was also very well maintained on the battery.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the Bolt as well. So
Okay.
they
That's
had
very
upper
promising.
and lower thresholds that they wanted to make sure there was a buffer for the consumer.
The only
So if
thing
you're
on the Volt
abusing it-
that was out of their hands. It was an LG thing.
Right. If you're abusing it, they're going to nerf you, I'm sure.
Right.
My car
So
did.
just
It's like, hey, stop it.
By the way, this is a 100 kilowatt pack.
Ooh.
okay.
That's a nice size, yeah.
100 kilowatt usable, or
No, they didn't say whether it was usable or not. Again, there's probably buffers built in.
Yeah. One would hope.
Yeah.
One would hope. I mean, I think we're at that point where we can be past the companies doing stupid things with electric vehicle drivetrains because they can get away
Not
with
cooling
it.
them, not heating them.
I wasn't mentioning Nissan by name.
I didn't either.
Shit, did I say I just said Nissan, didn't I? Oh. Let me tear up this check from Nissan. Yeah.
we can edit that out.
Or leave it in.
My latest article compares my battery degradation in my Leaf to the battery degradation in my Tesla.
Which
Over
one
the
worked
first
better?
5 years.
Oh,
One over at
Ah.
carswithcords.net.
Yes.
Yep.
there we go. Carswithcords.net. Check it out and do leave a comment because Patrick loves comments on his stuff.
It's true.
Yeah.
Let's go to Kacey. Speaking of General Motors, for another GM story.
So GM has said that they want to go back to Europe. Remember, they were last there with the Volt, and a handful of Bolts made it out there, and they decided that they were going to
Ampera?
leave the European market entirely. Yeah, they were Ampera and the Ampera-E, which was the Bolt, and then depending on there were a few that were actually called Bolt and Volt, a handful, and then GM said we're leaving, and they did. And now they realize that there's money to be had in Europe, and they want to come back. And they're going to come back as an EV brand. We'll see if they do the right thing and how well they do it.
Are they coming back with Cadillac or with Vauxhall? Or did he
That's a
sell the
good
Vauxhall
question.
name?
Or
That's a good
Opal or
question.
whatever.
Opel,
Opal and all them, yeah. It wasn't too clear when I was reading into it. Let's see.
Yeah, they got rid of some of those European brands when.
Yeah, they
during
sold
the
Opal to
bankruptcy.
Stellantis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
yeah.
So probably not then.
they
Probably-
sold Vauxhall
probably
to
within
PSA. Yeah, so it's going to be. I wonder if they're going
It's
to call
their
it
core
GM or
brand.
if they're going to call it Cadillac or Chevy.
Okay. I mean,
They've only branded one car as GM, and that was the EV1. So it's
Right.
it's going to be Chevy or Cadillac.
Yeah. Well, especially after what they did with the EV1. Oh, my goodness. So they declined to say which of the GM's new EVs will be sold in Europe and when. But the Lyric looks like a strong candidate, as do the electrified EV versions of the Corvette that GM announced late last month.
Who's driving
That would
the
be-
Lyric in Europe?
That would be quite an entry to come in with the Corvette in that market,
yeah.
You might be able to drive your Lyric and Limerick.
right? Well, you see, the thing about the Lyric is, with it being that mid-size SUV style, that's popular even in Europe, but
Right.
not like the Hummer would never fit on like half the roads.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Well, that's interesting and good for them, I guess,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I guess. Good for them. Be positive, Russell.
Hopefully they do it well, and hopefully they have success.
Yeah. Hey, more EVs better, more places better.
That part.
I'm totally into that.
You know what'd be funny is if they say all this crap and it's really just Bright Drop. We're coming in with a bunch of vans, big vans.
God.
Well,
they
you're going
would
to
do
go up
well.
against the but you're going up against the ID Buzz and the E-Transit.
No, I mean the cargo vans, big vans.
yeah, the E-Transit.
Yeah, the
Looking
E-Transit
for-
and the E-Transit and all the Stellantis things. Like they've got like 20 with the same nose, same van.
The Stellantis isn't making an electric van.
Stellantis is making like 10 electric vans with all the various brands.
Oh, okay.
They all have different noses, but they're the same thing underneath.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's a ProMaster, an
All that
electric
stuff.
ProMaster? Okay.
Yeah, all that stuff.
I mean,
Okay.
I know that Nissan sells their, what is it, NV2000 only in Europe. They won't sell it here because they're bastards, but that's a second Nissan bash today. I need to calm down. Oh, man. Hey, the ice cream truck is here. All right.
GM still has their Holden brand from Australia. Maybe they'll take that one to
Oh.
Europe.
There's
okay.
that.
The Holden Volt.
Holden Lyric.
It sounds like a
Right.
police command.
In Germany, Holdenvolt.
Holdenvolt, yeah. It might mean something else there. Well, speaking of Germany and the EU, Paul has a story about our friends at Daimler.
Yeah, this is an old story, but I just saw it recently, courtesy of Louis Rossmann, who's a big right to repair guy on the YouTube, has a nonprofit. Anyway, gist of it is, if you buy the fancy ass new Mercedes EV, you as the owner are not allowed to open the hood of the car.
Yep.
And they want you to take it only to the dealer or a specialized repair facility. And what's scary on this is, like, what if all the car companies start doing this and saying, you just spent $100,000 on a car and you can't do anything on it? Or
isn't it more than $100,000 for the Mercedes?
I'm sure that one's 140 or something. But
Yeah.
but the point is, you own something and they won't let you work on it,
Which means you don't really own it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they were so generous. There's this thing that looks like a charge port door on the fender, but really, it is a washer filter.
Yeah, yeah, and similarly, if the car breaks and it's out of warranty, and you want to go to an independent shop like mine, I may not be able to open the hood unless I pay Mercedes a shit ton of money and get certified to open their hood. So it's just a bad precedent for the consumer. The right to repair is a big thing. You should be able to take your car wherever you want to get it fixed. You should be able to fix the car yourself if you have the capabilities. But the manufacturer should not be doing this kind of stuff. So if you're looking for an EV or a hybrid car or a computer, maybe research what the company's policy is on having other people service that equipment. Because you can be darn sure, if that car breaks and Mercedes is the only place you can get it fixed, you're going to wait a long time and pay a lot of money to have it fixed.
Even when it's out of warranty, that just seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
I could see them saying, oh, well, if you do that, you void your warranty, and then, we're not going to cover it. But even that's a stretch. And aren't there some states that have pretty strong right to repair laws?
Yeah, Massachusetts has the best law right now in the U.S.
So do they have to do something different in that state?
Yep. They have to legally make service manuals and software and diagnostic tools available to independent shops. Now, it doesn't say they have to be available at a fair price. So they can say, well, it's $10,000 if you want to open the hood on this car. But, consumers can kind of make their voices heard and hopefully get these laws. I know the EU is starting to make some movement on right to repair. But, and I guess on the flip side, a lot of people who spend $150,000 on a car just take it to the dealer and don't care. And if the dealer says the repair is $8,000, they say, okay, here's my Amex Platinum. But, it's just not right.
Yeah, but you're looking at, the third or fourth owner, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road saying, hey, look, I got this EQS from 15 years ago for, a ridiculously good price.
Right.
I will say that TFL did manage to open the hood of the EQS. So you're curious to see what's underneath.
I'm sure there's going to be hacker sites and workarounds and stuff, but...
Oh, no, I think this is the press car.
Well,
whoops.
I don't know, but... and I think the BMW iX also has this sort of sealed hood.
I think that they were the next ones to do it. Yeah, it was Mercedes, the two Mercedes, and then one other brand joined them for this garbage.
Yeah, and a lot of companies are making it hard to do diagnostics on their cars, to reset the maintenance light. As a shop owner, I have a generic tool that works on every make and model that can do a lot of this stuff, but the manufacturers are trying to lock out those capabilities. So you either have to go to the dealer or pay their crazy licensing fees each year to use their tools as an independent shop. And that's just bad for the consumer. It's going to limit your options, and it's going to force you to pay more money. So if you're buying for these cars, ask the manufacturer, do your research, see what is their policy on independent service. Because one day that car is going to be out of warranty, and you want to fix it at a reasonable price. And reasonable. I went by the Mercedes dealer down the road, and there was probably 100 Sprinter vans in their parking lot with all kinds of, contractor logos, delivery company logos, and they're all sitting there waiting for parts and waiting for their technicians to catch up. Now, if the consumer could go to an independent shop and the independent shop had access to aftermarket parts, maybe those cars could get fixed instead of sitting on the lot for 3 months because there's no parts coming over from Germany right now or whatever.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's bad news. And if you're that plumber who needs that van and it's sitting there waiting because the doohickey from Stuttgart is stuck on a boat somewhere, it's not good news.
I wonder if the 12-volt battery is in the front or the back of that thing.
I would imagine the 12 volts accessible, but
Well, if it's in the hood, it's not.
So,
it might be in the trunk or the.
Maybe it's in the trunk. Yeah.
and Paul, I'm sorry, just to be clear here. Are we talking? Did someone say that some of these hoods are sealed? Like you physically can't get in?
Yeah, the EQS sedan and SUV have a sealed hood.
I mean, the hood.
I am watching the video now, and you can't open it.
It's a normal
Not
person's
permitted.
not going to need to open it because the washer fluid goes in somewhere else and the battery's somewhere else. But let's say you need to work on some electronic component or a drive motor.
It's real easy to get into it, but I bet you it flags. I bet you it phones home the minute you pull that red lever.
So
Do a lift.
There's number one, I totally agree with you 100%, Paul. Right to repair. It's a basic tenet of decent consumer relations, of treating your customers with respect. If I'm buying something
if you
from
lease it, I can understand them saying, well, it's our property, you can't mess with it.
Okay.
But you write them a check and you own it, you should be able to do whatever you want with it. Paint it pink, it's your car.
Well, John Deere started us down this path, and they say you don't own the tractor, you own the metal, the atoms. We own the tractor.
I mean, there are, in a sense, the idea that you buy a vehicle with a drivetrain that's sealed off, let's just pretend, from all interference from the outside, because they guarantee it's going to work flawlessly for X thousands of miles.
Okay, 2-3 million miles. We got problems.
I understand, but I mean, like this is sort of the long range promise of electric vehicles, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little part of it is
all shit breaks.
Right.
Yep, that part.
Moving parts wear out.
And software breaks and hard computer circuits break. Yeah.
It's happened. I should be able to go in there and upgrade the chip rather than throw the whole thing away.
Yep.
Apple says no.
Yeah,
and they're wrong. And they're wrong. I'm definitely not defending.
So if you're going to get an EQS, I guess just lease it and then give it back in 3 years.
Let them deal with it.
Covered under warranty.
And don't buy a used one.
Yeah,
don't. Yeah, because you're screwed. Well, let's end tonight with a fun story from Kacey about my next vehicle.
Yes, let me get a photo.
Okay, maybe it's not my next vehicle. You're gonna put the picture up?
No, your next vehicle
baby.
was that boat / bicycle thing from last week.
No.
We've come a little bit further than that.
I live in California. We don't need a lot of boat. I mean, I am near the ocean, but
Oh, and it's 3 wheels, which you are opposed to philosophically.
it is 3 wheels that I'm opposed to philosophically. Yes, you are correct. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, Kacey.
So
It's
this is a dump truck available for under $5,000. It's an EV dump truck, and if you aren't opposed to 3 wheels, you can buy it with 3 wheels instead of 4. Yeah.
Hey, if you've got, like 10, 20 acres, you want to tool around, that looks like it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Somebody.
Okay, I object to that first picture. That first picture is just how many truckloads did he have to bring in to get that pile that high?
It took him 10 years.
Well, to be fair, if you buy, the article says if you buy 10, you get a discount of $300.
This is true.
So maybe he has 10.
He bought a whole crate of them.
The problem
somebody
with these
joked
Chinese Harbor Freight quality things is it breaks, you throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But because it is so simple, you could fix it yourself. Somebody joked they would put a smiley face on here, and somebody else joked that that maybe it doesn't actually work because every picture of the dump truck is up.
It doesn't go down.
It just
It
stays
doesn't.
like that.
That costs another $4,000.
But here's the three-wheeler. So if you wanted that, it also
Oh,
up.
Lord.
But why does it have a gas engine?
Yeah.
What am I missing there?
The three-wheeler might not be electric, or that might be like an auxiliary,
I don't know.
Maybe that's just the hydraulic.
or maybe it's
pump.
for the dump. Yeah, because on the four-wheel, the dump motor has 50 more.
Oh, maybe that's a hydraulic
watts of,
fluid reservoir.
I think that's what it is.
Maybe.
On the
Yeah,
four-wheel,
these other ones.
on the four-wheel model, the dump has 50 more watts of power than the drive motor.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be the hydraulic reservoir. Is what we're seeing there.
It's
Electric.
kind of ugly.
It does say
mean,
it's
it's-
electric, but
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's
they
better than
they all have that little red gas tank.
it's got to be.
What looks like a little
hydraulic
red
reservoir.
gas
But is it?
It's interesting.
It's got to be hydraulic fluid.
I love the idea
Yeah.
of having a Tonka truck, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they're
Little
dirt
dumper.
cheap.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
1,700 if you buy one, 1,400 if you buy a pack of 10.
Why do I want
pack of 10.
why do I want to choose a three-wheeled version of this? What is the advantage of the three-wheel version?
Perhaps maybe it's
You can drive it
faster,
on the street.
or you're driving the street, or something about your use case. Because obviously, if you're buying the pack of 10, you've obviously got some sort of landscaping situation going on there.
Well, the four-wheeled one would not be street legal, but the three-wheeled might be classed as a motorcycle.
Ah.
It might be-
Right, it would
Good
be
point.
in California. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Kacey, thank you for that. I love
welcome.
a whimsical imported vehicle that I will never own because mine would break on the first day and then it would be a doorstop.
You bring it to Paul.
Right.
Drive to Colorado.
I drive it to Colorado at
Just to
7
put
miles an hour.
something up
No,
on-
you just fly him out, or next time he's in town.
I'm going to fly Paul and his tools out. Yeah. Because you know what? I have a tool bag that has like 6 tools in it.
But it's a Chinese automobile. It might be enough with those 6 tools.
And 2 of them are a rock hammer and a cold chisel. So
Why does the
just,
driver look like Wolowitz in the Big
just
Bang?
FYI. Less rolling resistance, says Bruce in the chat. Okay, sure.
Yeah,
You get a little more
range.
battery mileage
Like,
out of it. Why
I mean,
not?
I can see this good for like landscaping at universities or on
Sure.
campus,
Golf
right?
course.
Or something.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was
golf
thinking
course.
before. Yeah,
It's
better.
quiet.
Yeah.
It's not stinky.
yeah.
And it doesn't pollute, which isn't quite as important as the not stinky. But if you're in a campus or in a apartment complex or something, super useful.
And if you're a mega developer, you can buy one for each property.
Mm-hmm.
Buy 2 10-packs.
Yeah, nothing worse than a 2-stroke leaf blower
Right.
in the morning.
Yeah. Howard
Yes.
Wolowitz.
Oh, there's
Anytime-
one thing worse than a 2-stroke leaf blower in the morning. When they decided to do that rev crap. Yank, 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 yank. Just pick a speed and keep it up.
Yeah. One community here in San
States are
Diego has
banned
made
gas-powered
2-stroke leaf
lawn
blowers
tools.
illegal.
Good.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, Paul. I walked all over you.
I said some states or cities at least are banning gas-powered lawn tools.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
wish my city would because
California is banning it.
Nice.
we did talk about that, didn't
Yeah.
we? A state bill.
California is going to have a statewide ban on it.
Please, dear goddess, please.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, you've got all these heavy-duty zero-turn, not commercial, but consumer lawnmowers that you can do the battery swap on. So it's not that much of a stretch to go from consumer grade to lawn grade. And like for my leaf blower, they've got a business version that just has a bigger, more robust battery pack, and it's the same equipment other than the battery pack. And
I
you
think I
quick
read
charge it off the
something
truck.
like a 2-stroke leaf blower in half an hour pollutes as much as a Prius driving from Anchorage to Dallas. Some crazy statistic.
Wow.
Yeah.
In 30 minutes versus
Yeah.
Yeah. the
3-4 days of
two-strokes
driving.
are horrible for pollution.
Yeah. And, brooms are old technology, man. That's legacy technology. We don't need that.
Or
Rakes.
rakes.
Rakes. Yeah, brooms, rakes, whatever. Okay. Well, let's do some shout outs and go home. I want to start with Mr. Occupy Mars, Patrick Connor.
Hello. Hey everybody, I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net. So give us a thumbs up down there on YouTube. Thanks.
Do it, or we'll hunt you down. Oh no, we won't hunt you down. We won't even send you an email, but just do it. Carswithcords.net. And thank Patrick for all of the good work he does in our social media stuff on Facebook and on Twitter, trolling me, but more importantly, posting exciting news stories for all of you. Thanks for that. Kacey, what's new in your world?
Well, the new baby. So the video schedule has been odd. The live streams still happen every Sunday, 1:10. YouTube.com/Kacey Green, KACEYGREEN. I've assembled a video of the self-driving in the rain. I need to slim it down a little bit. It's still a bit heavy on the time, and then push publish, and it'll be ready to go sometime this week, hopefully.
There you go. Thank you. Do check in with Kacey and definitely subscribe to his channel. I have not watched a live stream yet. I admit it, but I have a really good excuse.
You're working.
I'm working, yeah, so I can't.
But if you're not working, you can just pop in and pop out. The hosts pop in and pop out, and so do the viewers. Just come on through and chat with us.
Absolutely. JonB,
Me?
you must have something to plug. Canada?
Plug? Canada? Well, yeah. Well, if the restrictions are lifted, come visit. Come visit. But no, shout out to Kia. Thanks for making actually going ahead and producing such a well-rounded vehicle, with the latest tech, and hopefully competition, breeds better products. And I'm hoping everyone can learn from each other.
Does it have the relax mode that the Ioniq 5 has?
So no, not in North America. Yeah, elsewhere in the world it does have the relaxation seats. Yes.
Okay.
But it has the same seats, so they are comfortable.
15, 20 years ago when Kias were the biggest pieces of shit.
Right.
Well-weight cars.
I do remember specifically commenting on the exposed welding on a Kia Optima.
My parents had one of those with the little physical bell. You open the door too long and tick tock, tick tock.
Oh, it wasn't that much long before that Hyundais were also.
Yes.
Yeah.
We give them a good warranty because we have to. And that's the sad truth of that. Yeah. Well, Paul, what do you got to
If you're in Colorado along the Front Range, check us out, boulderhc.com. We fix and repair hybrids and EVs. We sell cars, but nothing for sale right now. I got one Ford hybrid and a bitchin' Camaro for sale, not a hybrid.
man.
There's nothing to sell, nothing to buy. Hopefully you don't need to buy a car right now because it's the worst time ever to buy a used car, and it's even tough to buy a new car. As John says, he had to wait many months to get his car. So take care of the cars you have, maybe give them a little love, stretch the life out of them. Come say hi if you're in Colorado.
Paul's the man that can take care of you. Mark Coughlin.
I'd like to say to you, if you're watching this video at this point, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us out. It's free. Also, press that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be alerted every time that we put out a new video. And of course, that JonB and Russell extended versions coming out later on tomorrow, probably. So get alerted for that. So thanks very much. We appreciate it. And if you want to follow us on any sort of social media, just look up What Drives Us. We're on everything. And Russell's dance channel is really taking off on TikTok. Let me tell you.
Number one, hilarious joke. Don't search my name on TikTok. You won't find anything from me. But yeah, maybe
Who's to say we haven't started an account for you?
You will find them on onlyfans.com.
I will admit I do have an OnlyFans site. So yeah, sure. If you got, thank you, Derek. I do got moves, baby. And for $7.99 a month, you can see them in living color. Oh. That is a hard way to earn a living, folks. That's all I'm saying. Is that everybody? Did I leave someone out? No, I got everyone. Yes. I want to reinforce what Mark just said. Do subscribe to the channel. And if you're not already, do check out the video on the EV6 with John and I. We talked a lot in depth. John is a font of wisdom, and I just nodded a lot and tried to keep up. So check that out. As always, I want to thank Michael Manring for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. I want to thank John B., Paul G., Mark C., Patrick C., and Kacey G. for being on the show tonight. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Bruce, Derek, who else? I think just Bruce and Derek. I didn't see JT or Hockey Day or where are all the regulars?
JT was there earlier.
Was he there earlier? And JT. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Always love seeing you there. Thank you so much. And like I said, don't waste time looking for the TikTok. It doesn't exist. It's a joke. It's a joke. And we'll talk about show titles after the thing, but I'm thinking something about Dumped. Just saying.
Russell dumped TikTok.
Ah, there we go. Hey, if you want to find out, well, tune in next week and find out what drives us. Thank you, Kacey Grain. Thank you. See you next week.
Stay positive.